Hello, it's Sociopath Sam, and we are going to be looking at my 2024 projects. I'm going to be doing the Quilted Forest 12 projects of the year, and I'm going to be hopefully finishing more of them this year, but we'll see. This year I would like to focus on this list and see if I can actually get some of the stuff out of my closets and stuff that have been sitting around for a while, so we'll go through each and every single one of them. But yeah, last year I got that snowman quilt done in April. I showed that in a video. That Minnesota Quilt Shop Hop one, that one's done. Those two have been gifted and rehomed. Both are happy homed. The teacup quilt got turned into a couple of table runner wall hangings. I saw a picture of one of them hung up on the wall and she loves it, so that's awesome. And then the Hidden Charms table runner is the other project I got done, and that is sitting around here kind of trying to figure out what I'm doing with it, to be honest. The September through December projects, so the various ones on here didn't even get touched. My fall was a bit of a mess, so I didn't get to any of them. All of the ones that have not been finished are transferred over here. So Joe's Feather Quilt is still Joe's Feather Quilt. So they're all moved over, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more progress than last year. And then I have 4 new projects as well. Last year I did do rolling a D12. I'm not going to be rolling a D12. I'm just going to be using Quilted Forests numbers this year. It's just gonna be easier. I didn't mind rolling dice. I thought that was kind of fun, but I was trying to make a film and every month for my friends, just a little quick short thing, and then pulling up my dice and everything kind of just got to be a lot. So instead, I'm going to be following Quilted Forests numbers. So if you want to see what the number I'm going to be working on already, because January their video has been released, you can find out while watching this video to see which project I'm going to be working on. Before we jump into it, I am going to show you guys what I plan on doing to keep track of these projects a little bit better this year. All right, so I have a project set up here. I think I might actually do a second project page right across from it. Just so that I can constantly have 2 projects I'm working on, because that just tends to be the case for me. But yeah, I'm just going to have a page, I'm going to have a next steps, and I'm going to have some notes room, and then I'm going to have, this is for in case I need to buy supplies. The reason for the next steps is that I want to keep track of where I'm at, so that the next time I pick it up, say I don't finish in January, or I end up putting this aside for whatever reason, I can pick it up really fast and easy the next time. All right, on to project number 1. All right, so project number 1 is Joe's Feather Quilt is what I keep calling it, but it's the Artic Feathers pattern by Elizabeth Hartman. I am making the picnic quilt, which is 70 by 80, so it'll be fairly large. I have all of the feather blocks done at this point, so they are complete. I finished them last year. I'm very happy to be done with them. But that was something that I was doing, and so then I have all the rows and everything pinned and ready to go. So this has to have a top assembled and then quilted and bound. So there's still quite a bit to get done with this particular quilt, but I have made a lot of progress since last year, and so I'm really excited because walking into this particular project in 2023, I only had, I think the green feathers were partially done. No, I think I had the blue and half the green done. So my feathers weren't even halfway through. And this was the first project last year. So I was able to work on it throughout the entire year, which was really nice. So I'm sitting in a really good spot. I have the binding and everything picked out. I'm actually probably the most set up for this project because I have backing and binding. Everything's ready to go. I just have to actually finish it up. All right, number 2 on my list is the Hungry Little Caterpillar quilt. I started this one last year as well. The main issue I had with not finishing this quilt was actually I didn't know how I wanted to quilt it. I think I figured out how I wanted to quilt it at this point. So I'm not particularly concerned anymore, and this might be one that I get done fast. Man, I'm just finding loose threads all over this thing. But yeah, I did the top, which was really nice and simple to put together. And I really liked it. And then I have already bought the backing, and then I have binding. I think what I might end up doing with this particular quilt is actually making it into wall hanging, because Hungry Caterpillar is one of my favorite books as a kid. So there's a lot of nostalgia in this one for me. Number 3 on the list is the beginner class laws, as it says on the list. But what this is a beginner class Legend of Zelda quilt that I made. This quilt is a sampler quilt. It's got 9 blocks that are unique. It's got a border, and I had this Legend of Zelda fabric that I thought was really fun. So I have bats and spiders. You know, bats are called keys, I think, in the game, and I can't remember. I think I was trying to go for like a sculptural nod with the spiders. So, but this has a couple different blocks in it, and I've had this one ready to go for a couple years now, and I just haven't finished it. And I also have some Mario fabric that's going on the back. Yes, I know they're not the same, but it's by the same company, and I thought that was a little fun kind of idea. I thought that would be a cool backing to this. And I'm pretty sure the binding is in a corner somewhere, so I just have to go and grab it. But yeah, this is all ready to go. So this is, again, a really fast one that just has to get quilted. It's just I haven't done it yet. This was the project that I actually wanted to do last year, and then I told myself no, because I retook the class. Upon retaking the class, I was like kind of motivated. I was like, ooh, I want to quilt my other one, get that one all ready to go. And now I'm like, well, that motivation's gone. So I don't want to let myself do that again this year. I want to let myself be able to do things that I want. If the motivation strikes, I want to do the motivated stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited about this project as well. Number 4, this is the trick or treat wall hanging. So this wall hanging was actually a project I was really excited about last year. I just never got to it, and it came up as one of my projects towards the end of the year. I did start to iron it, thinking I would maybe do it, and then I never did. So here it is. This will all go together. I don't have the instructions in front of you because it basically just tells you right off the bat, and I'm not trying to like cheat stuff out there. But anyways, this particular pattern is from Country Caboose Quilts in Minnesota, from, I think they're in Waukon, Minnesota. But this is one of their patterns, if I'm understanding correctly, and it's just going to be a nice little wall hanging. I'm really excited. I would never do this kind of embroidery stuff, so it's nice to be able to get somebody else's stuff and be able to just like do the less of the work and make a nice cute wall hanging for it. So I'm not going to unfold this entire panel. I'm pretty sure I unfolded it last year at some point, so I just wanted to kind of go over this number 5 one just a little bit briefly here. This is a Disney Villains palette. You can see a little bit of Cruella here. There's Ursula. And then I had this backing fabric that also had villains on it that I really like. And I think what I'm ending up with doing with this, because I had tried to start this project. I tried to find a pattern I liked, just because like I wanted to do something kind of nice for borders and stuff. But honestly, at this point, and I know I mentioned this at last year too, I think I'm just gonna quilt the panel as is with the backing and move on with my life. So this might just be panel, backing, batting, and just move on. This panel hasn't really been inspiring. I tried to find something that would work. It just didn't. And so I think what we're gonna end up having to do, what I'm gonna have to do, I guess, is just stitch the whole thing together, call it like a baby quilt, toddler quilt or something, and I think just go from there, and that's just gonna be what it is. I'm not particularly excited about this project either, so that might be part of it. Alright, so project number 6 is a quilt pattern called Love It Here from Quilt Cove in Eagan, Minnesota. This was from 2022, this quilt pattern, and this was part of the Minnesota Quilt Shop Hop. This is a project I just never got to. I usually like to buy a kit from the shop hops, and this was I think this was the only one I found that I liked from 2022, and so this is the one that I still have yet to make. I've kind of fallen out of love of this pattern and everything, so this one might get regifted, but typically these ones that are from Minnesota shop hops gift very nicely because I have plenty of family who lives in Minnesota, so it works out fine. They're usually of theme that somebody I know likes, so it works out pretty good. Alright, so project number 7. This is a project that is basted in everything. I literally just have to quilt it and then I can bind it and be done. This will take less than a day to finish. It's on this list though because it was on last year's list and I didn't quite finish it. Table runners usually are nice and simple. It just didn't happen. This is also from the 2022, I believe, Quilt Shop Hop. Project number 8. So last year I was really excited to get to work on this quilt. I knew this was the massive quilt that I was going to make last year. I was like, this is going to be the big one. This is going to be the biggest quilt I think I've ever made. All of that jazz, right? This is going to be a lot of precision cutting. I don't do a ton of panel work, so I was going to have to like really sit down and figure out this quilt. I never got to it. I think it was scheduled to be in like October or something, and I had rolled October, November, and December all at the same time because October just was a wash of a month for me. And by the time November and December rolled around, I just was like, I can't do this. So this ended up just not even getting worked on, which is such a bummer. So I have this beautiful quilt kit all ready to go. And I'm really excited to make this quilt. I also dreaded it a bunch last year. I was like, I don't want to make it. There was definitely months where I was like, if this is the project, I'm kind of screwed. This is just not what I wanted to do. This year, though, I am hoping it actually gets done. That would be really nice. But yeah, we'll see. This is definitely one, though, that I'm a little intimidated by, but I'm also very excited about because it's unicorns. So yeah, we'll see where this one ends up. Hopefully in a good spot, but you never know. All right, so we're on to project number 9. 9 through 12 are all new this year. Not necessarily new to me quilts. They may have been sitting around for a few years, but these quilts are projects that were not on last year's list. This is the Gemini quilt Woodlands that I made last year, one of the months. Gosh, I don't know which, but this is also basted and ready to go. I just have to sit down and quilt it. Part of the problem has been I can't figure out how I want to quilt it. I think I'm just going to do like some straight line quilting or try to do some straight line quilting and hope for the best. But I'm not going to unroll this because it's all nicely rolled up because I'm ready to just chuck it through my machine. But yeah, this is definitely one of those projects that I'm a little like frustrated that it's sitting in this state. It's just sitting here basted, ready to go. So that's why I definitely want it out of my stock this year because it needs to go. All right, so this is probably one of my more unique projects that I gave myself this year. This is an owl, like stuffed animal pillow kit that I got one year. It was all a panel, so that's why it's called my owl panel with parentheses of stuffed animals. These have been sitting in my closet for years, and I have finally gotten to the point where I would like them to be out of there and I would like them to be done as well. So these are 2 big owl stuffy things that I'm going to be making. I'm very excited. I think they'll be very cute. They'll be cute little pillows. But I didn't realize how far I am on this. So I have a couple more to stuff still of these little round things, but this is actually a lot farther than I thought I was. So I'm hoping this will be a nice fast project this year because that would be good. But yeah, like these big ones are going to end up on the eyes of that for a 3D effect or something, I guess. It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm very excited though. I think it'll be really cute. All right, and number 11 is button patch. On my list it says just button. I couldn't remember the name of the pattern. Now I'm looking at it. It's called button patch. This is a really fun pattern because I want to teach myself or try to learn how to do curved piecing. I'm not particularly concerned. I did curved piecing when like making clothing and stuff, but I've never really done it with quilting and I don't know if there's much of a difference. I do have the templates done. I have my fabric paired up for what's going to be back and front of my quilts, my buttons and everything. So this is going to be my skill builder. I'm hoping this shows up earlier in the year so that I can work on it continuously. Because I think this is going to be a little bit bigger of a project than I think it will be. We shall see. But I'm unsure. So yeah, this project though is this is like the happy project, like the happiest project in here. Some of these are a little bit more reluctant. This one though, I'm very excited for, and I'm looking forward to making this one because it's got my favorite type of fabric, which is Halloween and pink. And last but not least, project number 12 is the Winnie the Pooh table runner. This table runner has been waiting to get quilted for 2 or 3 years now, possibly 4 years, maybe more. I don't really want to think too hard about it. But I have the binding, I have the top, I have the batting. I don't have backing necessarily for this quilt yet. That's part of what needs to happen for this quilt or for this table runner. But otherwise, this should be a really fast, simple one. Again, just a really quick, just get it done, hopefully, and move on. All right, so here they all are, besides my basted quilt. That one's sitting off to the side because it's so big. But this is the stack of stuff. I'm really excited. This should hopefully be a pretty good year. I'm hoping to complete 5 projects this year so I can do better than last year. And if you don't know what this has been about, go check out the Quilted Forest channel to see she's doing there too, and then what number is for January. Check it out and we'll get started. So on to my January project.